Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Doctors Schuster and Oxley, The Power of Stories. We're joined today by a friend, colleague, acquaintance, collaborator who's based in Vienna. And as I was preparing for this podcast, I thought to myself, what's the common theme? And the common theme, I think, is most obviously Vienna. I visited a couple of years ago and actually met with Roman, and Helmut obviously spends a lot of time there with his Kira Moya venture. And when I think of Vienna, I think of a city that seems to have produced an almost unfair amount of culture. I think of Mozart, I think of Beethoven, I think of Freud. I visited Freud's museum when I was there, and it was fascinating. And a walk through Vienna it's easy to imagine that history just unfolded, that these people all destined for something great because it was just a great city and greatness just emerged every day. But of course, that's not really how life works. The novelist Leo Tolstoy once observed that the strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience. And I suspect we might add a third, which is chance. Our guest today, Roman Schindler, grew up in Austria and then crossed the ocean to play college soccer in America. I grew up in London, never imagined that I would spend much of my life in the United States, but that's where I am. My co-author, Helmut, grew up in Austria and somehow became one of the most senior executives for the venerable English multinational energy company BP. None of these journeys were obvious from the starting point. I think if you had interviewed each of us as a 4 or 5-year-old, I don't think we quite would have imagined that that's the trajectory that our lives would have gone on. So I do believe in this idea, this concept of sliding doors, that small decisions, chance encounters, opportunities that we accept or decline, these tiny pivots that quietly just alter and nudge the direction of our lives, have a profound effect on what happens to us over 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And we spend much of our careers trying to plan them out, trying to predict what we're going to do next week, next month, where we want to go over the space of the next one. A common question of career planning is, where do you want to be in 5 years? And I think there's a trap there. There's a trap about believing that you can predict and plan it out. I think the biggest misnomer of careers generally is that the big reward is not only planning. Planning is useful, but it's participating. It's actively engaging. It's showing up. It's staying curious. It's having the courage to just take the leap of faith of walking through a door. In Roman's case, the leap of faith of going to America to play soccer, and then actually the bigger leap of faith to give the soccer playing career up with not necessarily a plan B already mapped out. One of the great philosophers of our life, I think, sums it up perfectly, Kierkegaard. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. And I think there's a lot of sense in that. Most of us are capable of far more than we think. The biggest barriers are often our own assumptions about, our own limitations and how we transcend those. And so perhaps the real task of careers, Helmut, is not to follow a map, but to sort of navigate through all of these changing opportunities and make the best of them. What do you think?
Yep. I think that's exactly what it is. I do not believe in random. I think there's a bigger universe that basically helps us to navigate our life. And this is what this is all about. Navigating our lives, trust our instinct and follow instincts. And good things will come out of it. And I think we talked about that before. And I still think this is very, very true.
So my guest today is Roman Schindler. Roman is probably most famous recently for his Mr. Austria 2021 title. He's also written a book, which my English translation is The Invisible Rollercoaster. I hope that's accurate. It's a German book available at all good booksellers today. A story about resilience, setbacks, and finding opportunity in life's unexpected turns. He was also featured in our book, A Groundhog Career, where we shared his story of how he reinvented himself after what many of us would think of as a pretty traumatic series of events when he was playing soccer semi-professionally in the US. So Roman, welcome to The Power of Stories. Happy to have you here. Lovely to see you again.
I'm happy to be here.
Helmut, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, David. Roman, this is the part where I want to introduce you to our audience. It's so important. In 45 minutes, it's almost impossible to introduce our audience. So I'm going to ask you like 3, 4, maybe 5 harmless questions. And the only purpose is really answer with sincerity, authenticity. It's just about the audience getting to know you a bit better. And I always start with one thing. As you're a writer, we are writers. What is your favorite book, or what is the book that has impressed you most in the last year or two?
So I actually started reading when I came to America, like really seriously. Yeah, obviously, it's a groundhog career. Besides that, it's
Besides your
from
own book, yes.
besides my own book and your guys' book. It's so on place number 3. It's from John Gordon, The Energy Bus, and I started reading it when I actually flew to the US because I wasn't the best in English, like in school in Austria. And then I started like watching some sitcoms in English and reading like not big books, but like just English books to get my English better. And John Gordon, The Energy Bus, was one of those books, and I still have it here. I still read it sometimes because it's like simple written, and it is moreover it's about like just having a positive mindset, just kind of like go with some setbacks, how you think about it. You can always think about the positive stuff in a negative situation, and yeah, and that helped me just to create my mindset. And besides that, some biographies, but I would say The Energy Bus, I mean, the title says it already. It's a pretty good book. I love to read more often.
And I think it also very much describes your own personality. I've never seen you in bad spirit. I think you always look at the glass half full. And I think that's such an important quality you have. And I just love that. I know that you're very, very much concerned with health. That's part of your life. And so what I'm really interested in, if you would share that with our audience, what is actually like your favorite food? So what do you cook yourself? And I do know that you cook food yourself.
Yeah.
You prefer over eating out. So what is it you normally cook for yourself?
I really love white fish, all kinds of white fish with some oven potatoes and veggies like carrots, broccoli, potatoes, and then the white fish in the pan. And I usually do it with like a protein yogurt on the side, just that it's not so dry. And yeah, that's actually like my fish. I love fish a lot, and you can just we have so many variations with fish. So
Okay, that's perfect. Sounds exactly what I eat every day. And David and his family as well. You know, in America, we really,
Occasionally,
really like to be healthy.
yeah.
as long as it comes with French fries.
Very impressive, very impressive. Explains a lot. Now, one question is, I mean, you do work after your soccer career. You basically, and I don't want to make that sound funny and embarrass you, but you probably are the person trainer in Austria, in Vienna. I call you the celebrity PT, but not meant in a negative way. But I think people just like you because you're a good person trainer, but you also because of your attitude. But the question really is, what is, I mean, for all of us, yeah, if you only did one exercise, yeah, what would you do? What is the most impactful, powerful
Mhm.
exercise?
But are there machines allowed, or is it just body
Now,
weight?
just us at home. For us
Just
mortals
just at
in
home?
our home.
Then it probably would be burpees, in my opinion. Like burpees, it's like a combination of a squat, jump, and push up. And you also get your heart rate up. Like your heart is probably the most important muscle because without the heart, nothing else works or matters. So a burpee is I would say the exercise you could do almost every day because it includes almost every muscle group in your body.
Roman, can I butt in and just say cardio versus strength training, if you can only do one?
Oh, phew. Then probably, to be honest, strength training. Because if you go high intensity, then it's part of like you also increase your endurance. I would say endurance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would
And
very much
I
agree
love
with.
and
Yeah.
I just love strength training. So that's why this is my answer.
No, but when Roman works with his clients, and I'm one of his clients, I'm the non-celebrity client, but you know,
But
he
then my
basically
number
does
one, obviously.
weight training.
Semi-celebrity.
It
He's a
really gets my heart
semi-celebrity.
rate going. So after 30 minutes, I'm just sweating and heart rate is up. So I think you're probably spot on with that. Now, last question. This is a really interesting question. And Now, Mr. David Oxley is the most competitive person other than you, Roman, on the planet. And so whatever the answer to the question is, he will say, I'm one better. In that regard, it will be 1 percentage point lower. What is your body fat?
I actually got it measured on my last competition, which was like 3-4 days ago, and it's 5.6.
Mr. David Oxley, if you say it's 4.6, I don't believe that.
Yeah. No, I'm in the.
Can you
I'm in
can
the.
you flex? Can you just show us like
yeah,
how?
yeah, I can do.
Can you
I
flex?
actually show you. I show you some apps because that's the best part. Yeah, I hope you can see well.
Yes, yes. Oxley, David, don't do the same. But
No,
And
you
and
do.
I
You
just
don't want
ate.
me to do that.
Animal.
There is an age. There is an age difference here as well. I think that makes a difference. I think I'm at about 12.8. So that's.
Wait, that's actually, like, for me as a personal trainer, I have to say, like, what I am right now, this is not even healthy. So we as a man, we should be around like 10 to 14. This is ideal, because it is an important factor for quality of living. I wouldn't, let's say, I wouldn't recommend it to stay on a 5 between 7% fat measuring throughout your whole life. So this is just for right now, for the next 2 weeks, and then
Competition.
I will, yes, yeah, just
Okay,
to
before,
make it clear.
thank you very much. We are already in the
Well,
middle
hang
of.
on a second. Helmet, what are you? Come on.
No, I know what it is. I'm 16, which is.
That's very good.
It's good. Yeah,
That's
that's
very
good.
good.
That's good.
The doctor said this is actually absolutely good. It's 16. He said if you want to do competitive swimming, which I going into racing, you should probably go down because I'm faster. Is that if you go down a bit, it'd be better because you swim faster. So probably 13, 14 would be a bit better, but 16, I think it was 16.6.
It's very good.
Is actually pretty good. Yeah. So
And we are
we are
working for
basically.
that.
Pardon?
No, as I said, we are working on that.
We are working on that, yes. So we are right in the middle of a fitness health conversation, but this is not about fitness or health. This is about your story and what I would ask you to tell us in 5-6 minutes, your story you want to share with us, and then I hand over to David. Just one thing, yeah, what people I think don't realize you should know. For the last 2 years, Roman has been working on bodybuilding, and I think you have qualified to compete in next week's World Championship in Budapest. And this is really very big deal. I think David and I and the audience really want to wish you best of luck because there's always a big.
Thank you.
David, do you want to segue over to the story part?
No, go, Roman, over to you.
Yep. So it's actually like I described in my book. So I would say America formed me the most, or kind of like really shifted my mindset as well. So I got a scholarship from the US and just studied there for 4 years. I did my bachelor like in health science. And yeah, the American mindset is just really different. Soccer, like football, was always a part of my life. And this was always my dream, just to become a professional soccer player. As I said, I wasn't really good in school, like in Austria, because my focus was just, yeah, whatever. I don't care about the grades because I will be a professional soccer player anyways. But then in combination with America, I realized, okay, I need to study as well. And yeah, and need to try to become a much better soccer player if I want to go professional. So the combination was pretty good, and America was the best fit for me because there you, as a student athlete, everybody understands if you go for a away game or if you have practice, because it's like a combination. You represent the university, and everything went well the first 2 years. And yeah, then I actually got my eighth concussion there, which really had an impact of thinking about what I want to do next, to be honest, because so like doctors in the US, doctors at home in Austria, both of them kind of like said, hey, I should really be concerned and think about it if I want to continue playing soccer, because the brain obviously is not just like a knee surgery and then you go to rehab and then it will be fine. The brain just, yeah, you never know if in 20 years it has like is still fine, or it just kind of like you messed it up in your young years. So then I still played in college for the last 2 years, which was not really the best decision because I always played scared. I wasn't really in my best conditions, but I just wanted to play and I just wanted to try it. But yeah, then I finished in the US. I finished my degree and then I came back home. I decided to really stop playing soccer. And then that was the hardest part for me, to stop playing soccer and actually to tell myself the question, okay, what's next? Because then I already was 25, 26. And again, I always had just one plan, and that was plan A, becoming a professional soccer player. And I never thought about doing something else. But now reality hit. And I really had to think about something else. And I knew I will be kind of like, I wanted to be in this health industry, but I also knew, okay, as a receptionist in a gym, or maybe also like as an employee in a gym as a personal trainer, you won't make that much money, which isn't always number one, but it's, you have to survive as well. So I kind of like, as we started this podcast, I just kept my American mindset, I would say, and just told myself, okay, if you want to be the number one, if you want to be the best in your personal training career, then you have to do more than other personal trainers. So I applied at some premium gyms in Vienna, in Austria, and then I actually got to one in the first district, which is kind of like the best location, I would say. And then I started there as a personal trainer employee for 1 year. And I knew, okay, for right now, for the next 2, 3 years, 4 years, there is no balance. If you want to be number one, then you have to go all in. And I actually just worked, I think, like 7 days a week. I worked on the Sundays, I worked on Saturday. And then what also helped a little, of course, was the Mr. Austria in 2021. So after 1 year of being an employee, I kind of like took the risk and realized, okay, I'm actually good at it. My clients portfolio got more and more, and I get booked much more than a year before. So yeah, I make the decision to be self-employed. And Corona was also kind of like a thing at this time. But I just knew, okay, if you go all in again, then it will turn out well, I'm sure. Yeah, so the combination, like my story about it, and the combination of this American mindset, even though I went to America, but to become a professional soccer player, but it just didn't work out. Being back home in Austria, but still kind of like using the discipline, the courage, and kind of like the hard work I had to learn in the US of their mindset. I still took it from the soccer side, took it for my personal training side, for creating my business. And yeah, again, the next 3 years I just worked out. I actually didn't go to vacation much because I knew, okay, as a self-employer, if you don't work, you don't earn money. And if you want to be, again, the best, you have to work more than others. And I would say it turned out pretty well. Clients got more and more. I'm really happy that I made this decision, and I'm really happy to experience the American mindset and to use it here in Vienna, and to have, yeah, I'm really thankful just to actually not becoming a professional soccer player, because I would say I'm more fulfilled right now, much more impact on the people around me. Because I just make sure they reach the highest potential. And yeah, I'm just blessed that I can still work in this health industry, that I actually was thinking about my health as well, that I just didn't listen to all those doctors, that I just really like listened to them, made I think a wise decision of stopping playing soccer, and yeah, actually living my dream, to be honest. And now with the book, now with the people I'm just surrounding myself, I'm sure this wouldn't happen if I would be a professional soccer player. I mean, nobody knows, but I feel like I'm 30 right now. As a 30-year-old, I experienced a lot. I wrote my own book. I'm self-employed, and I have good people around me. And so, yeah, everything turns out the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like the sound effects.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah, yes. I started off the podcast a little bit talking about sliding doors, the idea that Helmut and I have been debating recently because we're in the process of putting together another book. And in this book, we were talking about what's the secret of career success. And one of the things that we keep talking about is it's forward motion. It's not necessarily having the clarity of what's going to happen 5 years from now, but it's making movement and being open to the opportunities that follow. And I think in some senses, that's the story I hear coming through from how your lived experience. Is there an aspect of that is being in motion feels better than not being in motion? How would you describe that experience that you had from Bradley to Vienna to John Harris to, it didn't sound planned and yet you made it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing is actually to take action. Like I knew, to be honest, after my last concussion, I was in the hospital, and then I knew, okay, I'm stopping playing soccer. But then I was sad for a week. But then I knew, okay, all right, now I'm in this situation, so I can't do much about it except taking action. And again, then you just find still your passion. What is your passion? Okay, soccer, yeah. I can't play soccer anymore, but it's kind of like sports. So then find something what you can do in sports, and you still have your passion about it, and then just move on and go with the first step. Like don't be 5 steps ahead, just go 1 step, then this step is reached, like then next step, and again, I think there's some factors: hard work, belief, the faith, the patience. That's all part of it. Of then when you look backwards to becoming this person you are right now. Yeah. But I think taking action is probably the most important thing.
Yes. So what I heard, doing things, getting things done, not being stuck in the past is very important. But there's another thing which really intrigued me about your story. And I can relate to that very much because I'm also from Austria. I went to high school in America. You said one thing is in America, yeah, playing football, you learned one thing, doing something really, really well, 24/7, all the time for an extended period of time. No matter what you do it to your best ability. And that's a process, a mechanism, a mindset, which I think that's what I heard you say. You found very unique in America, and that helped you back in Austria. Can you say a bit more about that, this process of excellence, how you experienced that and how it helped you in Austria to become successful?
Yeah, like that was actually, I still remember that. I still have this same feeling. Like this is maybe I'm kind of like a little American, I would say. It feels still so weird on Sunday here in Vienna when I drive or when I go to the gym to work, and just the streets are quiet, nobody's on the streets, like nobody's working. And maybe that's the difference. Like that doesn't happen in America. Like as I said, in America it's 24/7. And you can debate if it's good or bad, but again, if you want to reach your goals, there is, like, yeah, you just have to go all in, and this is the American mindset. And here in Austria, I would say the people are they're fine with just 20 hours a week, and I get my pension anyways in 40 years, and I'm living good. But yeah, again, that's not my mindset, because then like most of them then complain because somebody else is living a better life than them. But yeah, because this person maybe worked a little bit more than you. So for me, it's always just a mindset. Okay, if I put in more, then I can get out of it more. And that's, I'm really thankful for, that I could just use this living the American dream, if you work hard, to Austria. Because to be honest, I don't have much competition here. Like when I'm on Sunday in the gym, there is usually just me as a personal trainer on Sunday, because nobody else wants to work. So yeah, good for me. But also that gives me the sign of that I'm doing. That is, yeah, it's just my mindset. I can't really, others would say, I'm sure others listening right now to like talking to me, and they say, no, but we need a day off, and we need 2 days off, and this is also fine. Like everybody has their own opinions about it. But if I want to be the best, then I have to be a little bit unbalanced for a period of time.
I think this is a very, very good point. And for audience who is not familiar with Austria, you cannot go shopping on Sunday. Sundays basically shuts down everything.
Yeah.
And what I heard you say, Roman, I very much agree with that. Performance and ambition does not know retirement, neither does it know Sundays. And I think this is a very powerful message to give us for audience. Yeah, if you want to succeed, yeah, whether you're in corporate, whether you're in startups, whether in sports, you need to basically focus on that 100% 24/7 for extended period of time. And I think that's a message we also, David, I think we try to convey in our books. Multiple, apply yourself 100% and you will basically be successful in your career. Any thoughts, David?
Yeah, so I was reminded of Gladwell's 10,000 hours, which came from Erickson's deliberate practice research, psychologist that talked about perfection, chasing perfection, and how deliberate practice, trying to improve. In sports, I think they talk about 1%, don't they? Trying to find that 1%, 2%, and how you do that by very micro improvements. We talked to a contemporary of yours, an Olympic swimmer, a few months ago, and he talked about controlling your environment. And I was very impressed about how he talked about you can control your routine, you can control your inputs into the training process. You can't necessarily control what your competitors do, but you can control what you do. And trying to be the best you can be in that context is the best advice that you can give anyone. I still think that the key to this is having some sort of belief system, though, isn't it? Because I think one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, and Helmut, you and I have come across our fair share of these people who have the self-doubts, who struggle to believe they can get there, that are self-defeated, if you will. That idea of, well, I would try, but I don't think I'm good enough. Or, I would like to get the next promotion, but honestly, who would promote me? I'm not very good. They end up defeating themselves. You must see this in the personal training space as well. Do you ever feel it as an individual? Is this something that I find it difficult to believe that you would ever, but I mean, in your most quiet and vulnerable moments, do you find those occasions where you go, oh, this may be too tough for me. This may be beyond my ability?
Yeah, actually, of course I feel it sometimes, but I think like if you don't have it every day, it can actually be something good, because then you kind of like rethink your work, your ambition, and you just kind of like have a self-talk to yourself. Hey, am I doing enough? And so I think it's just a perspective how you see the self-doubt. If it's because it has a reason, and maybe inside of you, okay, maybe I didn't do what I was supposed to do, Then you got your answer. Okay, then I try to go back on the routine, and then the self-doubt should usually just kind of like be gone, kind of. But of course, I see it as well as a client. I mean, it is a factor that maybe some people, they have great ideas but don't take action. But then again, I think the best part of it is just to start imperfect. Like, you don't have to wait for the right moment. You don't have to wait until everything is written out and being perfect. It's usually, I think, the self-confidence or the belief system you also earn by doing the uncomfortable, when you think about it, okay, I'm maybe not the best at it, but I will just try it, because then at trying it, you become a better version, a more self-believing person in yourself. Like, it's an interesting topic. I could talk about for the next hour, but I think everybody just reacts different. But I tell my clients, if you have the self-doubt, just try it. Oh, like, the worst thing what can happen is that you just learn from it, but then you're one step closer to your goal. Yeah. I mean, I have it sometimes as
Yeah,
well, of
so
course.
basically everyone has doubts at one point in time, and I probably agree with that. But what you're also saying is that you learn to get better and never look back, which probably is a very good advice and mantra.
I think if I could just push one other subject before we bring the podcast towards a conclusion, I think the lesson that you teach us, Roman, the gift that you give us is this resilience and this determination to keep going, combined with the strength of belief that there's something for you. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this is what a lot of people struggle with. I've
Mm-hmm.
struggled with it in my career. I don't know, perhaps Helmet has, but this idea that you are on a path and you think that that next goal is the goal. What I love about your story is that there's no sense of disappointment. There's no sense of, or at least you never give a sense of doubt. There is this belief that I was going to be a professional soccer player. Okay, that didn't happen. So now I'm going to be the best personal trainer. I'm going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm going to be a motivational speaker combined with a best-selling book. And there's always something that you have seen that is another challenge, another layer, another opportunity. I mean, how would you, if you could sum that up, and perhaps I'm getting to Helmet's single career tip, but if you could sum up, how would you, if someone comes to you and they're, I don't know, 25 years old and they said, I was desperate to be a professional soccer player and apparently it's not going to happen for me, what advice would you give them to say, look, there is something for you,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry, but keep going? How would you help them with overcome that?
To be honest, I would tell them to, and I think everybody knows inside of them what they really want to try or what their interests are, and things. And I really would try to tell them, hey, just try all of them, and don't be afraid to fail. Like, really see failure as a good thing, because you just grow from it. And just do it without kind of like really being too much into what do other people think about me then, or whatever. Like, I tried to be a stand-up comedian. I did it 6 times, like on an open mic, and I thought it's I wanted just to try it, and I realized then after, okay, no, this is not for me, but I'm happy that I did it, because so I can just check it up on my bucket list, because it was still something I just wanted to try it. So really just go for it, try it, and fail as many times as possible, because it goes from, like, say, a big street to trying to closer, and your path is always then just going towards the thing what is supposed to be yours. You know what I mean? As when you try as many things as possible, and then you know, okay, this is not for me. This is something. I'll try a little bit more. This is not something for me, and then it just yeah, your path is creating on itself. It's yeah. So I would just say, as I said
So I
earlier,
think
just
I
go
think
for it.
that's it's very well said, because I think the only caveat is that you can't be, like 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. You can't just
That is
keep
true.
doing that. But where it builds towards something, one of the things that Helmet and I have been talking about is how careers going forward, you are better prepared for those careers if you know a little bit about a lot, because you can
Hmm.
combine that knowledge,
Hmm.
as opposed to I'm going to, be this one day and this something else, and you never really stick, or you never really end up putting it all together.
Yeah.
But the idea of having a wide portfolio of information, I think, or to draw across many domains, I think is fantastic advice for careers going forward. Helmet, do you want to ask your closing question?
Yeah, I mean, Roman, I always ask our guests one question. This is really, and I know that's probably will never do it justice, but if you had to give one pearl of wisdom, one advice for young or not so young people in terms of career, what is the one thing you would tell them to do?
So the one thing I would tell them to do, if they already found out their career, that's the thing they wanted to do. As I said earlier, in my is also like part of my story. Just be okay with having an unbalanced life for 3 to 5 years, just to go all in your passion, and yeah, and just go for it, and try to work as many hours as possible, and to reach your goal, to be one of the best in the field you want to be. And so that it's okay
Okay.
to go for your obsession. Like, I heard so many times, hey, you're doing too much, and this is too much, and but they didn't know that I was burning for this. And I'm sure some young people, they're burning for something else, and they allowed to work 24/7, and they're allowed to be unbalanced a little bit, to yeah.
Okay. So your advice is Do one thing and do it for a very, very, very long time, over and over again, and you will succeed. And I think that's a
Right.
great message and advice. Thank you.
Yep.
David.
Thank you.
Roman, I'm going to wrap our podcast up. Before I do so, the Invisible Rollercoaster. Tell us, just give us 30 seconds on the Invisible Rollercoaster.
Yeah, it's actually about it's like a story about a guy, like a young guy, it's me, who experiences some setbacks and just learns how to overcome those setbacks and always to look forward to new things, to like some other things weren't planned. Like, it's sometimes okay as when your goal is to be a professional soccer player and it doesn't work out, don't be pissed. Just, all right, it didn't work out for me, but then what's the next thing? Like, what's next? And the book is about a guy who experiences at college some setbacks and just overcomes them and finds a new passion and realizes that the best thing what never happened was becoming a professional soccer player, and now he can even enjoy life even more and loves life. Yeah, he thought this is like the end, not becoming a professional soccer player, but it was actually the best thing whatever happened.
Excellent. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Roman's book writing exploits are something that we're following and supporting. We're looking forward to the English translation whenever that becomes available. And we have loved spending time with you today, Roman. Let me wrap up our podcast today with Helmut's very keen that I tell everyone that if you've enjoyed this podcast, you will very much enjoy. In fact, he guarantees that you will enjoy our books. There are 3 books out there, one of which Roman was very much featured in, The Groundhog Career. I'm also happy to say that The Artificial Death of a Career audiobook has just gone live at the time of recording this podcast. So it would have been about a week ago at the point that this becomes live. But that's gone out on June the 10th. We were very excited about that. Helmut and I spent some quality hours in a studio in London recording that, what seems like a long time ago now, but we had a lot of fun doing that. That is out. The newsletter now has over 350 monthly subscribers, and we love writing that newsletter to people. It's like a letter to friends. There's something quite intimate in it. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, please do so. Instagram, we send out some really quite fun, career-inspiring, career story-related content. And of course, LinkedIn. So if you're not following us on those platforms, I'll give you a link at the end of this podcast. But let me just turn it over finally for some final words. So Roman, anything that you'd like to share at the end here as we wrap up?
Thankful to be a part of this podcast. It was nice chatting with you guys. And again, it's like a topic I could still talk about for hours, but I hope we wrapped it up pretty good. And just for the young people out there, really just go for it and enjoy by doing what you love and try to be becoming the best in your field.
Helmut?
Well, thank you very much, Roman. I think you're just a very wonderful person. You're very inspiring. I've seen you inspire many, many of your clients and customers to work harder, to look better. And I actually can see the difference. So thank you for that. And thank you for the time available to join us today.
Okay. And
Thank
with
you.
that, let me close our podcast for today. Goodbye, everybody.